guys, what's up? I figured I'd do a quick little update on my Street Fighter 2 cab. I've been working on doing a little restoration for it for a little while, and I've made some decent updates to it. Still got a little work to go on it, but I figured I'd update you guys on my progress. So here we go. Here's the actual cabinet. Now, if you haven't seen this cabinet before, I did a video of my arcade basement room down here. And right now I've kind of got stuff shut down right now just because it's still kind of cold down here, and well, there's no point in turning everything on at the moment because I'm really just doing a video about the Street Fighter machine. So anyways, I've made some changes to this, so I will talk about the changes before I turn this thing on because it is a bit loud. First off, I went ahead and did replace all the buttons on here except the player 1 and player 2 button, mostly because they are kind of awkward to get to and soldered kind of weird, so I couldn't replace them. But went ahead and replaced all the 3 punch buttons, 3 kick buttons on each player side here. And as you can tell, probably just a little bit here, this is actually a different color than this one, and it never fails. I always get buttons, and I always get one red button that is different colored from the rest of them. So kind of annoying, but I'll get over it. Yeah, player 1 button still a little dirty looking here. Got to replace that, as well as the player 2 button. But the new buttons with the micro switches, the cherry switches in them, working way better than the old ones. Was having a lot of issues with the forward kick button here. And what would end up happening was with the old button I would have to slowly tap the bottom of it to get it to work, which was really bad for a certain amount of combos, especially when I'm using Ryu. The new buttons obviously helped, but another issue was that the actual solder on the joystick panel itself was kind of loose. And that's another unfortunate thing. The buttons are actually soldered together, and they don't use the normal jump terminal connections like a lot of the stuff does. So in order to get it working again, I had to solder, and my solder skills are not the best, so a little bit of a pain in the butt, but not too bad. Obviously we got a little bit of dirt that I still need to clean up here, and the joysticks are actually starting to get pretty worn out now that they're playing with someone who knows a little bit of what they're doing as far as doing moves and stuff like that. So I have went ahead and ordered new joysticks. Gonna get that replaced, well, player 1 and player 2, which will be nice. Glass wise, it's kind of funny actually. You probably couldn't tell from the arcade video that I did before, but the piece of glass for the monitor actually only went to the monitor itself, and it was a huge gap between the right side here as well as the left side. And actually, to take a quick look at the glass here, try to do this without the giant shadow. This was the piece of glass that was originally with the cabinet, and it's a nice thick piece of glass, but it just looks stupid when it's not lined up properly with the actual arcade cabinet. So I went to Ace Hardware and got a piece of glass, measured this out, and it fits exactly to what the cabinet actually is, and it cost me about 13 bucks to do so. It looks so much better. Very nice. Up here is the new marquee that I basically made. I have access to a high quality oversized printer, and I was able to get a copy of the marquee in a very nice scanned digital format, and went ahead and printed this thing out on some nice gloss paper, and it looks fantastic. Got the new piece of plexiglass over at Ace Hardware. That cost me about $6, I believe. Got the thing printed out, put it in, and it just looks fantastic. Now, I do have Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, but I'm actually running Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting in the cabinet, and I kind of like the Hyper Fighting marquee a little bit because Turbo was my favorite on the Super Nintendo, and I figured I got the Turbo PCB in there, might as well get the right one. Another thing, let's take a quick look over here. With the original marquee, it's actually kind of faded. This is actually the original marquee that came with the cabinet, and that's kind of hard to tell from the actual video camera here, but this is actually pretty faded. This should be a little bit of a deeper red, and the Capcom should be a little bit more red. Maybe we can kind of see an example here. It's a little tight in between my pinball machine, But if we compare the reds here, you can see there's a slight difference. So it's a little faded, but it's from 1992, 93, so that's to be expected. But the marquee overall looks great, and I'll show what it looks like lit up in a second here once I'm done explaining what I've done with the rest of the stuff. Now, this is going to get a little dark here, but as you can see, I have some Street Fighter 2 side art. If you notice, there's a little bit of white here, and that's from the old Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition marquee. What my problem was with that was I don't know if the machine originally was in a sunlit area, but it was completely faded. If you add me on Facebook, you'll actually see the difference. But picture what you see right there, and just picture it practically all white, and that's what I had. So eventually, I do want to get the proper side decals for that. Unfortunately, the printer I have access to doesn't do die-cut stuff, so it's not going to be that easy to just print out something like that. I'll have to get that done professionally. But in the meantime, I did get a hold of the Street Fighter 2 marquee, the original Street Fighter 2 marquee, and decided to go ahead and actually print that out to size of the top of the arcade cabinet on both sides. So I actually have some somewhat official side art here. And it's pretty nice. This is more of a matte paper than it is a gloss paper. I would have preferred gloss, but I had to use what I had. And it overall makes the machine look a little nice. Unfortunately, I did put this up yesterday, and I'm already noticing here, if we zoom in, you can kind of see it, that there's a little bit of bubbling with this thing. And I'm pretty sure that has to do with the coldness, the moisture of it being down in a basement. Again, my basement is not finished, so it's going to be a little colder than most rooms. I bet you if this was in a standard temperature, I wouldn't run into that issue. But what's kind of funny is if you look at this little piece of poison artwork here that Hanzo did for me, this is on the same paper, and there's really no bubbles on that. And wow, I just realized it was kind of funny that I was just rubbing that. Anyway, there is some bubbles on this side of it. Maybe it's just the actual texture too. It doesn't look horrible, but to a junkie like me, it kind of bothers me a bit, especially when it doesn't look good as that marquee there. And this side actually has a little bit of bubbling too, so I'll live. I won't cry about it too much. So, is there anything else that I need to do with this machine other than replace the player 1, player 2 button? Again, I kind of want to fix the control panel a little bit here, clean it up a little nicely, and maybe eventually replace the monitor. I don't know, there is a little bit of burn on the monitor. And another thing is, I've been reading online about the DeGauss wands that you can actually get. Any of the CRT monitors and stuff, it's like if you degauss a monitor, it actually removes the magnetic fields from it and helps clear up the picture. I don't know if this thing needs it or not, so I've been thinking about getting one of those wands. You can get them fairly cheap, but that's just a matter of, do I want to mess with it and have the possibility of spending money for no reason, or what? So we'll see. But finally, I guess we can pop this thing on, and we can see what the marquee looks like all lit up. It's a beautiful thing. And since it's going to get so loud, I will say my goodbyes now, and we'll watch. Can I play this one-handed? Probably not, but we'll try.
Round 1, fight!
logic.